Okay, can everybody hear me okay? All right, thank you. We need to get going here in just a minute. I want to thank everybody for being here. My name's Stephen Mitchell. You probably all in this room received a letter from me a couple weeks ago. I timed that letter just right, so you know. I sent the letter out and then I went on vacation for 2 weeks. So, all kidding aside, on behalf of Brian, Debbie, and myself, we want to thank you for being here. We realize that this is a big adjustment for you. We wouldn't have put this in front of you if we weren't comfortable with the solutions that were passed at annual conference. And if you have any questions at any time, do not be afraid to come talk to myself or Brian or Debbie on the side anytime. A couple of things before we get going. I've been passing out these sheets around the table. This is basically a disclaimer I've released for you. For those that aren't able to make it to this meeting, we're going to make a recording of this upstairs, and this is going to show granting us authorization to use any questions you might have for legal purposes, for liability purposes, for that recording. So for those of us that know people that aren't going to be here, this is for them to be able to view this meeting and be able to inform like this going forward. Second is, we have some cards on your table, and they're cards about questions. We're encouraging you to ask questions in this meeting. A little bit about the questions. The material you're going to hear today is going to basically answer all of the questions that you probably are going to write down. So if you write down questions now before we get started, you're probably going to find out that those questions are being answered during the presentation going forward. But please feel free to write those questions down at the very end. We'll walk around and we'll collect the cards and we'll read the questions off. If you want us to ask them, we'll ask them going forward. One thing about the questions, this is a big group. And again, we're recording it, so I need to remind you of what we call personal health information. Try to keep those questions limited to a general basis. We really can't answer anything regarding to personal health, any conditions of that nature, so please keep the questions in a general basis. If you have detailed questions, those questions are best answered by your licensed benefit advisor, who will be the one doing the registration for you over the phone, which Dwight will explain for you going forward. But that's the reason we partnered with them. That's the reason the General Board of Pension has partnered with them, is because they're very well versed in all these issues and very well versed in helping you pick the best plan, and they can hear that information and give you the best recommendation going forward. So, are there any questions for me before we get going? I think we're in good shape here. If you don't have a release or you don't have a card or a name tag, Debbie's passing around name tags, we want to know who's here. Please let us know and we'll get it to you. But I want to introduce you to Dwight Turner. Dwight works for Towers Watson One Exchange, and Dwight's primary job is to travel across our country and give presentations like this and educate you about what One Exchange does from you from beginning to end and how it works for you. Dwight was with us at annual conference. He was able to come with us for a day and sit, so he's very familiar with our conference. He's familiar with this room, and I think he's a valuable resource. So I want to go ahead and welcome Dwight. Thank you, Dwight.
How's everybody doing today? Okay. Before we get started, this is something that I like to do. How many veterans do we have in our audience today? Can I get our veterans to raise their hands? Guys, you do not hear this enough. Thank you. I can only think of two people that are willing to put their life on the line to give us a better life. One of those was, guess who? Our Savior. Our Savior, Jesus Christ, and our soldiers. There's not enough we can do. And like I say, you guys do not hear this enough. Thank you for making my life better and giving us the freedoms that we have. One more time, let's give our veterans a round of applause. Now I'm going to ask another question. When I ask this question, I expect to see a lot of hands go up in here. How many retirees do we have in the audience today? Okay. When I say this, I'm speaking on behalf of the younger generation, Steve and myself. It was you who kicked down the doors. It was you that made it possible for gentlemen such as Steve and myself to stand before you, to work with you. You guys opened the door. Without your contributions to society, you are the fabric of our country. And once again, without your contributions to society, I wouldn't be standing in front of you today. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, how many in here has heard of the term private Medicare exchange? Can I get a show of hands? It's a couple, huh? How many have not heard of the term private Medicare exchange? Okay. What is a private Medicare exchange? It is a coordinated service that works with CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, as well as different insurance carriers that are on our platform. You're going to be working with a licensed benefit advisor. This is someone who has passed the State Board of Insurance exam. This licensed benefit advisor is highly trained. They specialize in nothing but Medicare. They're going to evaluate. They're going to look at prescription drug formularies, prescription drug lists, out-of-pocket expenses such as copays, deductibles. And their responsibility to you is to help you find the most robust coverage in the least cost-effective manner. That is their responsibility to you. During that process, they want to help you to make an informed, educated, and confident decision when it comes to your health care. Now, would you agree with me that no one in here has the same set of needs when it comes to your health care? Would you agree with that? We're all on different medications. We have different chronic conditions. This is one of the good things about individual Medicare. You can personalize a plan according to your specific needs. It's not like most group plans, one size fits all. You either take this plan or that plan and that's it. You and your spouse may not necessarily enroll in the same plan. There may be a more cost-effective plan. You may choose to go different routes. One of you may be healthier than the other. Perfectly okay. What we're going to talk about today, who we are, just kind of went over that. Transitions can be a good thing. We have a very structured process. We've enrolled over 800,000 Medicare eligibles that are in the exact same position that you're in today. We're going to talk about one exchange for your benefit. We'll take a deeper dive. We'll talk about the benefit advisors, how we help you optimize savings. We'll also go over next steps. And at the end, we'll do a Q&A session. What we want you to do is make sure you're writing your questions down. The presentation is designed to answer a lot of your questions. So if I answer your question, just mark it off. At the end, we'll collect the cards. We'll go through the cards, and we'll answer them. But even at the end of the meeting, you'll have an opportunity to speak to us because Steve and myself will be around to talk to us as individuals if you have further questions. Who is Towers Watson's One Exchange? Towers Watson has been around for over 100 years. They are a leading benefit consulting firm. They purchased a company by the name of Extend Health. And now we are known as Towers Watson One Exchange, the first and largest private Medicare exchange. This is our 9th season going into enrollment. And one thing is, this service is at no cost to you. We like to say, as life happens, we're just a phone call away. Our transition process. You're going to be working with licensed benefit advisors. You're going to consult with them. What we want you to do is really think about what it is that you need when it comes to your health care, when it comes to Medicare. Do I travel? I have dual residence. I see my doctor more than 5 times a year. I'm in and out of the hospital more than 5 or 6 times a year. These are the must-haves when it comes to a plan. The benefit advisor is also going to ask you probing questions. And during that, they're actually evaluating different plans that are out there. They're going to simplify the selection, let you know about 2 or 3 plans that match your needs, and they're going to explain why. Effortless enrollment. No paper involved in the actual enrollment. All you're going to need is a voice authorization signature stating that you accept this plan on this date. And once again, what are you gaining? Lifetime advocacy. Right now, when it comes to Medicare, do you have anyone that you can just call and ask and get your questions answered? Nope, you do now. This is what you're gaining. You're gaining advocacy. Another thing that I often bring up is, can somebody in here tell me what the future of Medicare holds? Anybody know? No. But what I can tell you is that in the event of change, you have a company that will let you know exactly what your options are. Isn't that nice to know? Our call centers, we have 2 call centers located in Salt Lake City, Utah, and Dallas, Texas. And one thing that I'm proud to say is that we do not outsource calls to foreign countries, unless you consider Texas or Utah a foreign country. Our hours of operation, Monday through Friday, Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. That's 13 hours a day. If you notice here, you have the Medicare plan types. Notice there are 3 of them. You have the Medicare Advantage plans. You have the Medicare Supplement plans, also known as Medigap plans. Don't want you to get them confused. They mean the same thing. You hear some of the advisors call them Medigap. You hear some of them call them Medicare Supplement plan. They're one and the same. And you also have standalone prescription drug coverage, Part D of Medicare. In an effort to make this simple, you're either going to enroll in one of the 2 plan types. You're either going to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, which includes prescription drug coverage, it's a bundled service, or you're going to enroll in a Medigap plan or Medicare Supplement plan with standalone prescription drug coverage. 2 plan types, but there's a variety of plans under those 2 plan types. Any of these companies up here look familiar to you? You see them advertising on TV a lot? Insurance companies do not believe in advertising unless it's to their advantage, and right or wrong. You know why they're advertising? Because of the baby boomer generation. You got 10,000 people aging in to Medicare a day. 50 million Medicare eligibles. So if I'm an insurance company, guess what? This is where the business is. This is where I'm going. And what's happening is, it's power in numbers. On group coverage, you may have, this is just a wild number, say 6,000 retirees on a plan. But guess what's happening with those 6,000 if you have group coverage? Your premiums are steady going up. It's only 6,000 of you. You don't have any buying power. Your premiums go up and your benefits decrease. But when you go over to the individual Medicare side, 50 million. So guess what? You got more buying power. Your premiums are lower and you get more bang for your buck. A lot of forward-thinking people have already dropped their group insurance because they saw the light with individual Medicare and they realized that it would save them money. We work with over 90 different carriers. And most of these carriers, like I say, they're household names when it comes to the insurance business. AARP, underwritten by United Healthcare, Humana, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Your future coverage. Mostly everybody in here has a Medicare Part A and B, is that correct? Is there anybody in here that does not have Medicare Part B? Okay. I have people ask me this question all the time, and it's actually a good question. Dwight, I have Medicare Part A and B. I have insurance. It's an 80-20 arrangement. Why do I need supplemental coverage? I say, that's a good question. How many of you are aware that under original Medicare, you have a resetting deductible? For 2015, that resetting deductible is $1,216 based on a 60-day service period. Meaning, say you're in a hospital, you have to satisfy that deductible of $1,216. 60 days go by. On the 70th day, you end up back in the hospital. Guess what? You have to satisfy that deductible again. That is an exposure when it comes to original Medicare that a lot of people do not know about. Hospitalization. After 60 days, $300 a day. After 90 days, Lord forbid, who wants to be in the hospital for 90 days? It doubles. Those are exposures when it comes to original Medicare that a lot of people are not aware of. Part B, you're responsible for 20% of cost, of Medicare approved cost. Anybody ever had a medical bill? 20% is a lot of any type of catastrophic injury, any kind of major chronic condition. These are all exposures of original Medicare. That is why you have supplemental coverage such as Medicare Advantage plans with built-in prescription drugs or a Medigap plan with standalone prescription drug coverage. They are designed to protect you from the exposures of original Medicare. You also have the choice of dental and vision. What I want you to know is that dental and vision plans are not regulated by Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. You can enroll in a dental or vision plan at any time during the year. Some of you may say, hey, I do not want dental or vision right now. 3-4 months down the road, you may have a different outlook. It's perfectly okay. Just give us a call.
Just so we're aware, you still have the ability to be on our conference dental and vision plans in 2015. So when you're going through the process, know that in the back of your mind. And One Exchange is aware of that, but don't think that you have to pick a plan. So if you like what you currently have, you can keep it to the conference plan. That's going to be obviously going to be available to you still going forward. So.
Right. And with him saying that, I would tell anybody, just do a comparison. If it comes out to a savings for you, or if it's a more robust benefit, at that point you are welcome to change. But if it doesn't come out to a savings, if it doesn't benefit you, you can stay in the plan that you're in. Now, option 1 is a Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage that is built in. Under a Medicare Advantage plan, this is where Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they subsidize private insurance for administering plans on their behalf. Private insurance, in turn, passes those savings along to the Medicare eligibles in the form of 0 to low monthly premiums. This is where you'll find your HMOs, your health maintenance organizations, which have restricted networks. You have to verify that your doctor's in the network. Your PPOs, preferred provider organizations, which, if you stay in network, your cost share is not higher. You save by staying in network. It gives you the right to go outside of network, but your cost share is going to be higher if you go outside of a network. and in most circumstances, it's significantly higher. Now, Medicare Advantage plans, they focus on wellness. A lot of them include gym memberships, such as Silver Sneakers, Silver and Fit, no additional cost. They also focus on preventative services, a lot of preventative services at $0 copay. But just keep in mind, Medicare Advantage plans are network-based. So if you're dealing with a Medicare Advantage plan and you're loyal to your doctors, you've been with your doctors 10, 15 years, you do not want to separate from them, verify with us. We'll check the networks and we'll let you know whether your doctor's in the network if you're interested in a certain plan. Now, another thing about Medicare Advantage plans, they are what we call guaranteed issue, meaning you're not going to be subject to underwriting in the event you decide to change. Annual enrollment period for Medicare Advantage plans and Part D prescription drug plans is October the 15th through December the 7th of every year. This is when you can feel free to make your changes. And once again, you're not subject to underwriting for making a change to a prescription drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan. Is anyone in here not familiar with the term underwriting? What is underwriting? Underwriting is a series of questions that the insurance companies will ask you. And based on how you answer those questions, your premium rate could be higher, and there's actually a chance that you could be denied. With the Medicare Advantage plan, you never have to worry about underwriting questions. Unlike a Medigap plan, right now you qualify for what is known as a special election period. So pre-existing conditions and being subject to underwriting at this point in time will not be taken into consideration. So you do not have to worry about your pre-existing conditions or having to answer those insurance questions. Now, if you're enrolling outside of a special election period, you will open yourself up to underwriting for the Medigap plans. That's real important. And the reason I say that is because if you have a chronic condition that keeps you in and out of the hospital, you're in and out of your doctor's office, you're anticipating any kind of major surgery, this could potentially save you thousands of dollars. Medigap plans are not network-based. You can go see any doctor in the United States that accepts Medicare, any medical facility, any hospital that accepts Medicare. Now, that's very important because if you travel a lot, if you have dual residence, snowbird, some of you may have a chronic condition, you may want to go to a Mayo Clinic. This is supposed to be the best clinic for your condition. It's 3 or 4 states away. As long as they accept Medicare with this type of plan, you can go see them. Now, you will also need standalone prescription drug coverage, where you'll be responsible for your monthly premium, as well as your prescription drug copays. So when we look at the differences between a Medicare Advantage plan versus a Medigap plan, one major difference is one of them is network-based, the Medicare Advantage plan. One of them is not. You can go see any doctor that accepts Medicare. One of them is guaranteed at issue, Medicare Advantage plan. One of them, if you do not have a special election period, you may be subject to underwriting. Those are two of the major differences between those two plans. Now we're going to take a deeper dive, and we're going to talk about our process. Your experience. The first stage of our process is the announcement and education period. I know that UMC has been meticulous in sending out information in regards to this change. You've all been getting written materials. You're attending meetings such as this. This is the announcement in education phase. But I want you to know is that education phase is going to work two ways, because you are going to educate us. You're going to educate us in what is it that you're looking for in a plan? What are your concerns when it comes to health care? We're going to educate you in reference to our processes and how your concerns work with Medicare. But during that conversation, the licensed benefit advisor is going to be evaluating the plans, analyzing the plans, and once you're comfortable, once we help you get to that point where you're making an informed decision, that's when we enroll you. Keep in mind, the ultimate say-so of when you enroll is totally up to you. The ultimate choice in what plan you enroll in is totally up to you. You have the final say-so. But the benefit advisors are there to guide you through and help you make an informed, educated, and confident decision, and to optimize savings when it comes to your plan selection. This is not a one-and-done shop. Once you enroll, we are there. We have lifetime advocacy. You're going to receive communications. We're going to let you know when the annual enrollment period from October the 15th through December the 7th is coming in case you want to make changes. One plus is that if you're not making changes to your Medicare plan, you have to do absolutely nothing. It'll just roll over. But if you want to make changes, we're a phone call away. Now, how many of you have received the Getting Started Guide? Can I get a show of hands? Okay. What is the Getting Started Guide? It's exactly what it says it is. It helps you get started, tells you what to do to prepare with us. Now, how many of you have already gave Towers Watson One Exchange a call? Okay. Now, the Getting Started Guide. What we want you to do, we want you to make sure you have your red, white, and blue Medicare card when you give us a call. We want you to gather your prescription drug bottles, and there's a reason for that. There are thousands of medications out there. A lot of them have similar names, similar pronunciation. You have one medication, but it may come in 2 or 3 different forms. It may come in 2 or 3 different strengths. And if you have a percentage-based copay, you're probably going to pay more for a medication that's 500 milligrams versus 100 milligrams. So we want to be as accurate as possible when we're capturing your information so that we give you an accurate quote. And once again, pre-existing conditions will not be a factor during this special enrollment period. But once you gather that information, if you're interested in the Medicare Advantage plans, we want to get your doctor's information and your hospital information. But then we want you to reach out and give us a call. Make that first contact call. This is a dedicated number for UMC. That number is 1-866-249-7785. If you do not have your Getting Started Guide, do not hesitate to call us, because you do not need that guide in order to get started. All you have to do is call us, and we'll walk you through this entire process. We also have a website, medicare.oneexchange.com/GBOPHB. After you give us a call, you will receive this pamphlet known as the Enrollment Guide. What is the Enrollment Guide? It's very similar to the conversation we're having today. It's a review of Medicare basics, tells you what to expect on your enrollment call. What I would tell you is that if you're single, you want to set aside anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour for your enrollment call. If you're a couple, you want to set it aside anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. So what I will tell you is that make sure your cell phones are charged up when you give us a call. Now, it'll also go over some of the frequently asked questions, but most importantly, it contains your appointment confirmation date, the date that you have set up to speak one-on-one with a licensed benefit advisor. Now, the actual appointments don't start until October. There's a reason for that. According to CMS rules and regulations, 2015 information cannot be released until early October. So therefore, that's when we set the actual appointment calls. For those of you that are doing your research on the internet, if you want to get a good idea, looking at the 2014 information gives you a good idea of what to expect. Now, how many of you think this lovely looking lady looks just like me? I was told in a couple of meetings that the only difference was I was bald-headed and that I wore glasses. In a sense, we are one and the same. She's a licensed benefit advisor, and this is an actual licensed benefit advisor. I'm a former licensed benefit advisor. In order to even be considered for employment by Towers Watson One Exchange, you have to have an active insurance license. Once you're employed, you have to become certified and appointed by the various plans or carriers that are on our platform. What I will tell you is that I hold a license in over 30 states. Every year I have to recertify. What I can tell you is that every year I'm taking anywhere from 30 to 40 tests from the different plan carriers, making sure that I know this information inside out, that I know any changes. And I have to pass those tests with an 85% or higher each test, or you will not be on the phones working for Towers Watson One Exchange. It is important for the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, for Towers Watson One Exchange, for UMC, that these licensed benefit advisors know this information. They can take your personal situation and analyze the plans and make the proper recommendations. And they know if they can do this, they're going to be taken care of. Therefore, they're objective and unbiased. They're not going to put you in a plan because they receive a higher commission. That's not how Towers Watson One Exchange operates. They're ranked and bonused based on their ability to analyze your situation and make the proper recommendations. They know as long as they take care of you and that they do right by you, everything else falls in place for them. Once again, we have a 100% domestic workforce available 13 hours a day, 7 a.m., 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, how many of you are internet savvy and like to do your own research on a computer? Can I get a show of hands? Okay. How many of you want absolutely nothing at all to do with a computer? Either way, we got you covered. If you don't want anything to do with a computer, like my grandmother, give us a call at this 800 number. We will walk you through the entire process. For those that are internet savvy, we have decision support tools. One of those functions is what we call the Help Me Choose function. The computer will ask you a series of questions. Based on how you answer those questions, it will recommend one of the two plan types, either a Medicare Advantage plan or a Medigap plan with standalone prescription drug coverage. What we will tell you is that you can do your research, but always run your final thoughts by a licensed benefit advisor. The reason for that is the licensed benefit advisors may know the nuances of the plans that are in your area that the computer may not recognize. So always run your final thoughts by a licensed benefit advisor. Once you log in and set up your account, you have a prescription profiler. You can enter your medications. You can look at the plans that are in your area, how much you're going to pay premiums, how much you're going to pay in copays. You can do the comparisons. You can do that with the Medicare Advantage plans as well as the Medicare Supplement or Medigap plans. But just remember, you may have a good idea of what you want, and a lot of times you're going to be right on point. But just run your final thoughts by a licensed benefit advisor. They may ask you a couple of questions, and they'll tell you, I agree. Or have you ever thought about this? And once you're ready, that's when you enroll. Now, our enrollment process, we do realize that everyone may not be comfortable speaking over the phone one-on-one with a licensed benefit advisor. What we will tell you is that if you have a son, daughter, grandchild, church member, family member, friend, neighbor, as long as you give us permission, we will speak to anyone. But if they call out of the clear blue sky, they do not show in our system as what we call a HIPAA-approved representative, we will not speak to them because that is a violation of your privacy. So just keep in mind, we will speak to anyone as long as you give us permission. That can be indefinitely. That can be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long you choose. But at the time of enrollment, we will need the actual enrollee on the telephone because Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services, CMS, they require a voice authorization signature from the actual enrollee. There's one exception to that, and that exception is if you have durable power of attorney. If you have durable power of attorney, you can actually do the enrollment. We'll answer the questions, we'll recommend plans. But at some point in time, the actual insurance carrier is going to ask you for a copy of your durable POA. And you want that readily available to send to them so that you do not delay the processing of your cards. Now, we've been doing this for 9 enrollment seasons. And at first, we used to have our benefit advisors do everything. But what we realized is that by them not concentrating on the consultative approach, we got a lot of kickbacks from the applications because we work with 90 different carriers. Each of them have different applications, at the most 3. So you're talking about 270 applications, all asking different questions. So what we figured is, hey, we need to get a team that does nothing but work with these applications and fill these applications out accurately. So now we have a 2 enrollment process. You're going to deal with the licensed benefit advisors. That's who you're going to consult with. But once you make your choice and plan, you're going to deal with the application data processors. They specialize in filling out the actual application. It has improved our efficiency rate tremendously. We don't get kickbacks from CMS saying the application was filled wrong. So this is one of the things that we've worked out through trial and error, and now we're a lot more efficient because of this 2-part process. Application data processors. Now, another thing is 100% of our calls are recorded. That's rules and regulations of CMS. That's also for your protection, as well as ours. From time to time, there may be a dispute. Had I known this about this plan, I would not have enrolled in this plan. They did not tell me this at the time of enrollment. It is very important for Centers for Medicare Medicaid Services, Towers 1 Exchange from UMC, that we have the ability to pull these calls, listen to these calls. If there's misrepresentation on behalf of the agent, they are held accountable. There's a lot of integrity that goes along with being a licensed benefit advisor. When I say being held accountable, up to the point to where they could actually lose their license. If anyone in here holds a license, you know, losing a license is like losing your income. So we take that very seriously in being compliant, following the rules and regulations of Medicare. Now, after you have enrolled, you will receive this piece of paper here. This is a selection confirmation notice. And what it does is summarizes the plans that you enrolled in. It's going to name the actual name of the plan, what you're responsible for premium-wise. If you get a standalone prescription drug plan, if any of you choose a vision or dental, it's going to have all of that broken out for you, telling you exactly how much you're responsible for. So that is the information that you'll receive after your enrollment, and that's the selection confirmation notice. Now we're going to talk about your HRA, your health reimbursement arrangement. What is an HRA? It is a tax-free account used to reimburse you for eligible healthcare expenses. You pay first, then you seek reimbursement. For it to be tax-free, this is the arrangement that you have to have. They gave you the funding directly. At that point, it would be taxable. So to maximize your funding, they put it in an HRA account. If you're eligible, your UMC will make annual contributions to your HRA. Now, some of you in your letters, you got an insert that told you exactly how much you're entitled to. Now, also, if you don't know, you can give us a call at the 800 number. We can tell you. If you're internet savvy, that information can be looked up over the internet. So you know exactly how much you got to work with. And it is per individual. So if you have a spouse, they're entitled. You may use your HRA funding to reimburse yourself for eligible medical prescription drugs, dental, vision premiums, including Medicare Part B premiums, as well as eligible out-of-pocket health care expenses. How you choose to be reimbursed will totally be up to you. If you go with the Medicare Advantage plans, you might choose to be reimbursed for your Medicare Part B premiums because a lot of your Medicare Advantage plans may have low to no monthly premium. Just keep in mind your HRA funding will be available as of January 1st, 2015. Unused funds do roll over. How it works. This is going to be different because, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Those of you that are married, HRA funds are shared between spouses, so it's a joint account. So we're very unique in that distinction. Not many employers do offer that, but the funds are shareable. So if the clergy is getting $2,400 and the spouse is getting $2,400, that's actually $4,800 between the two of them to use. So it's a shared account. That's something that's very unique to our conference.
Right, and just to add to that, you may be healthier. So one of you may absorb more of that than the other. It's perfectly okay with that account. But you're going to pay the insurance company directly. The insurance company is going to send you proof of payment, and you're going to seek reimbursement through one exchange. We're going to administer the HRA on behalf, and from there you'll be reimbursed. What I want you to know is that you can be reimbursed two ways. We can cut you a live check, or you can sign up for direct deposit. You will receive a funding kit that'll give you the option to set up for direct deposit. Now, you have two reimbursement options. I'll go over the second one first. The second one is manual reimbursement. This is good for your eligible out-of-pocket expenses. If you go to Medicare Advantage plan, you'll simply fill the claim form out, send in proof of payment, receipt, EOB, and we'll get you reimbursed. From the time that we receive it, it takes anywhere from 7 to 10 business days to get you reimbursed. Now, for those that do not like dealing with paper and submitting claims, we also have a feature known as automatic reimbursement. Automatic reimbursement takes you out of the loop of filling paper claims. It is good for premiums only. At the time of enrollment, the licensed benefit advisor will tell you, this plan is eligible for automatic reimbursement. Would you like automatic reimbursement? You say yes. It's just as simple as us hitting a button, and we get you set up on automatic reimbursement. You're not submitting paper claims at that point because the actual insurance company sends us a monthly file stating that you've paid your premiums. Now, it takes anywhere from 60 to 90 days to get automatic reimbursement set up. And the reason for that is, say the insurance carrier sends the file over on the 10th of every month. You sign up on the 5th. No issues. You make that eligibility file, we get you set up, and you get reimbursed in a timely manner. But say the insurance company sends the file over on the 10th, and you sign up on the 15th. At that point, you're going to have to wait until they send the next file for us to get you added to their file. So what we'll tell you is that for those first 2 months, you can fill out a manual claim form, and we'll get you reimbursed. If you can afford to wait, once automatic reimbursement kicks in, it works like clockwork. You'll be refunded all at the same time. And these are just the two options you have for automatic reimbursement and manual claims. Now we're going to look at some of the localized slides. These are actual plans in the area. If you look here, plans available in Oklahoma County, 10 different Medicare Advantage plans ranging from $0 to $167. Companies in this area include AARP, underwritten by United Healthcare, Humana, Coventry, and Aetna. 16 different Medigap, or Medicare supplement plans, ranging from $34 to $268. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Oklahoma, AARP, underwritten by United Healthcare, and Humana, have Medigap offerings in this area. 17 different prescription drug plans, ranging from $13 to $143. Some of the prescription drug carriers in this area include Humana, WellCare, AARP, Aetna, SilverScript, Express Scripts, and Cigna. Now, you hear a lot of people saying, you get what you pay for. That is absolutely not the case when it comes to Medicare. And the reason I say that is because if you took that attitude and say, hey, I want the best plan available, you get what you pay for, I want that $143 plan. What if that $143 plan doesn't cover the medications that you need? So what you want to do is work with your licensed benefit advisor. Let them analyze the different plans. Let them recommend the plans that give you the most robust coverage, that covers your medications, that covers your needs, and saves you financially. You also have the choice of vision. We have VSP, which is $168 annually. Keep in mind it's reimbursable. Annual eye exam, $5. Coverage for eyeglasses, lenses, and frames. Just keep in mind your eye diseases, cataracts, glaucoma, that's all covered under Medicare. So this would only be good for your eyeglasses, lenses, and frames. Dental, 4 plans to choose from in this area. Delta Dental, Humana, MetLife Dental. Plans ranging from $21 to $46. This is an example of a Medicare Advantage plan in this area. Notice you have a $0 monthly premium here. I get this question a lot. Dwight, how can an insurance company afford to give me a plan at $0 premium? I say, yeah, they're giving you a plan at $0 premium, but you pay Medicare Part B every month, right? So you're paying for this plan because CMS subsidizes private Medicare for administering plans on their behalf. So what's happening is Medicare Part B premiums is simply being transferred to the insurance company. That allows you to that $0 monthly premium. Now, this is an HMO, restricted network. We have to verify that the doctor's in network. $0 deductible, $10 doctor copayment, which is reimbursable through your HRA. $40 specialist copay, which is reimbursable through your HRA. In the event you're hospitalized, you're responsible for the first 5 days. at $295 per day, reimbursable through your HRA. Emergency room visit, $65, it's also reimbursable. In this prescription drug example, notice you have a $0 deductible for your prescriptions. At retail, your local pharmacy, $3 for non-preferred generics, $7 for preferred generics, $45 for preferred brand, $95 for non-preferred brand, 33% of costs for a specialty medication. Notice I used the word preferred and non-preferred. What I want you to know, I really want you to know the difference. According to CMS rules and regulations, any prescription drug carrier has to have at least 2 medications from the same therapeutic class on their prescription drug formulary or their prescription drug list. The medications are listed on their prescription drug list. You pay the preferred rate, which is lower. The medications are not listed on the prescription drug list or the formulary. You pay a higher cost. They move it up a tier. So just keep in mind, your licensed benefit advisors are analyzing all of this information on your behalf. There's no need for anyone in here to become a subject matter expert when it comes to Medicare, because your subject matter experts are just a phone call away to help you. Now, specialty medications, 33%. Believe me, if you're on a specialty medication, you know. These are your high dollar biosynthetic medications. Some do come in pill form. Some of your cancer medications, the multiple sclerosis medications. Notice at mail service, you also have the option of a 90-day supply. Notice at mail service, $6 for preferred generic, $14 for non-preferred generic, $125 for preferred brand, $275 for non-preferred brand, 33% of cost for a specialty medication. And that's an option. Some of you may choose to use mail. Some of you may feel more comfortable using the local pharmacies. Some of the local pharmacies may allow for a 90-day supply as well. Now, this is an example of a Medigap Plan F, which is the most robust coverage you can get when it comes to Medicare. You pay a higher premium, but you have no out-of-pocket expenses when it comes to your medical. It's what we call a peace of mind plan. You know, unfortunately, the older we get, we don't get healthier. And regardless of what age you are, we never know when something catastrophic is going to happen. So a lot of people are like, hey, I want that peace of mind of knowing that if anything ever happened to me, my family doesn't have to worry about it. My medical expenses are taken care of as long as I pay my monthly premium. That's why we call it a peace of mind plan. But notice here for the Medigap Plan F, it's $199 plus the prescription drug plan, which is $19. You're looking at $218 monthly. And keep in mind, that's reimbursable. No network. You can see any doctor that participates in Medicare, any hospital, any medical facility. But notice here, you got a lot of zeros. $0 deductible, specialist, doctor copay, 0. Hospitalization, 0. Emergency room, 0. That's why we call it a peace of mind plan. With that, you would need standalone prescription drug coverage, which is $19 a month. For your prescription drug deductible, $0. For a preferred generic in this scenario, $0. For a non-preferred generic, $12. For a preferred brand, $39. For a non-preferred brand, $89, 33% of cost for a specialty medication. This is at retail, at your local pharmacy based on a 30-day supply. One thing I want you to notice in this scenario is mail order. Remember, mail order here, you can get a 90-day supply. But if you look here, you pay $0 for preferred generics, $24 for non-preferred generics, $78 for preferred brand, and $178 for non-preferred brand. But can anybody tell me what's happening in this scenario? You're paying for 2 months of medication, right? You're getting a third month free. So if you're on 3 different medications, and say you're paying $78, what's 78 times 3? You've saved. So mail service, a lot of times can help you maximize and save money. So if you're not afraid to utilize mail service, talk to your benefit advisors, let them know you're looking to save. And they'll look at the mail service plans. And they'll tell you exactly how much you could save by utilizing mail service versus retail. Now, this is something that every CMS prescription drug carrier has to follow. This is regulated by Medicare. During its first stage of Medicare prescription drug coverage, you're responsible for your deductible. That deductible can be anywhere from $0 to $320. Once you satisfy your deductible, I say if applicable, because there are plans out there that have $0 deductible, you move into the next stage of coverage, which is called the initial coverage stage. This is where you pay your co-pays, and the insurance company pays the rest until you reach $2,960 in actual cost of medications. That's what you're paying in co-pays, and that's what the insurance company pays. So once it all adds up to $2,960, you move into that third stage of coverage. Is anybody familiar with what that third stage of coverage is? The donut hole, correct, or the coverage gap. For 2015, during the donut hole, you pay 45% for brand name medications, 65% for generics, until your out-of-pocket cost reaches $4,700. And keep in mind, pharmaceutical contributions count towards your $4,700 true out-of-pocket.
Right, will you explain to them how that's going to be closing over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I'm getting to it.
You would. Okay.
Okay. Now, it's estimated that only 25% of the Medicare eligible population reaches the donut hole. But once you reach that $4,700 out-of-pocket max, you move into what is known as the catastrophic stage. And it's estimated that only 4% of the Medicare eligible population actually reach this catastrophic stage, where you pay $2.65 for generics, $6.60 for brand, or 5%, which is ever higher. The good news, the donut hole is decreasing every year. By the year 2020, it will be 25% across the board. So every year it's decreasing until the year 2020, where it will be 25% across the board. And keep in mind, the stages are based on a calendar year. So every January, it resets and it starts over. Next steps, what we want you to do. We want you to gather your red, white, and blue Medicare card, gather your prescription drug bottles. If you're interested in a Medicare Advantage plan, we want your doctor's information, hospital, medical facility, and we want you to give us a call. Once you place that call, they're going to tell you the day you have set aside for your enrollment appointment, and then you can expect to receive your enrollment guide. What are you gaining? By working with Towers Watson One Exchange, you're gaining guidance, you're gaining navigation for Medicare, for health care, any questions you have. As life happens, we're just a phone call away. Enrollment questions, prescription drug changes, affordability concerns, reimbursement issues, late enrollment, HRA, annual plan review. What I would tell you is that when it comes to your prescription drugs, if I wouldn't do anything, I would review my prescription drugs every year. The reason for that is your doctor will take you off of medications. They will put you on medications. Generics come out. And if you're looking to optimize savings, the plan that you're in may not serve you as well as another plan that may be available for the up-and-coming benefit year. So if you're looking to maximize savings, analyze your prescription drug plan once a year during the annual enrollment period. And once again, the plans you select continue on year to year. No need to re-enroll in the fall unless you want to make a plan change. Now we're going to get into some of the frequently asked questions. So if you have your cards and you have questions that you want to ask, at this time we're going to go ahead and collect those cards, and I'll go over the FAQs.
If you do have questions on the cards, just raise your hand. We'll walk by and pick them up. And Brian's going to have a microphone as well. And when we're done, if we don't answer a question and you want to have a question answered, just raise your hand. And just please wait till we get a microphone to you so we can get the question on the microphone for the recording purposes.
Okay. Do you offer plans that cover me in multiple states? I'm a snowbird. Remember we were talking about the plan that allows you the freedom to go see any doctor in the United States as long as they accept Medicare, any medical facility, any hospital. Does anybody recall the name of that plan? Medigap plans. So if you travel, if that situation fits you, a Medigap plan may be the plan of choice. Keep in mind, some Medicare Advantage have something like a passport feature. If you're traveling, you're still interested in a Medicare Advantage plan, let your licensed benefit advisor know. They'll look up and see if they can find a plan that has travel benefit for you. Prescription drugs, most of them have national networks, CVS, Walgreens. If you're out of state and you need a prescription filled, as long as you have an active prescription on file, it's just as simple as having that medication transferred, and then it can be filled. How often will I be billed? By whom? Can I pay by check? That's going to be carrier specific. Different companies will give you different options. Some of them allow for monthly billing, quarterly billing, annual, semi-annual. There's not too many insurance companies that are going to turn down a payment method. Would you agree? A lot of them allow you to pay by credit card, by check. They'll send coupon books out. At the time of enrollment, your licensed benefit advisor is going to go over those options with you, and you can select at that time. If I don't like the plan that I enrolled in, when can I change? Remember the annual enrollment period for Medicare? October the 15th through December the 7th for your Medicare Advantage plans and your standalone prescription drug plans. That's when you have the ability to change. Remember what we said about the Medigap plans. You can enroll in a Medigap plan at any time, but if you're outside of a special election period, you may be subject to medical underwriting, or there's a chance that you could actually be denied, or your rates can be higher, your premium rates. Will I be refused coverage due to a pre-existing condition? Will I pay more? Can my policy be canceled once I'm enrolled because of my condition? During the special election period, pre-existing conditions will not limit your plan selection. You're free to enroll in the plan of your choice. Outside of a special election period with a Medicare Advantage plan, that will be different. You'll open yourself to having to answer the underwriting questions. And keep in mind, the only way your policy can be canceled is if you fail to make the monthly premiums. Now, your rates won't be raised because of a pre-existing conditions. They cannot do that to you. Will my premiums increase every year? If so, by how much? Medicare Advantage plans are pretty stable, but on an average for a a Medigap or Medicare supplement plan, you can expect a rate increase anywhere from 2 to 4% per year. What we will tell you is if you experience a rate increase of more than 10 to 15%, give us a call, and we'll go over some other options to see if we can help you find a more cost-effective plan.
Every year, our Conference Board of Pensions will receive reports from Towers Watson One Exchange about medical inflation. And if we see that the trend of the plans is drastically increasing, we will reassess the value of the HRA you receive. So we'll be working with you every year, hand in hand, as you go through the process. Keep that in mind as well.
Okay. Are there plans that cover me when I travel domestically or internationally? If you travel domestically, can somebody tell me the name of the plan that will cover you? A Medigap plan, that is correct. Do we have any international travelers in here? For those of you that travel internationally, Medigap plans have what they call built-in foreign travel emergency coverage. If you travel internationally, you want to talk to your benefit advisor, let them know, and they'll tell you exactly how that benefit works. Now, one thing I will share with you, in the event of an emergency, you're going to be covered. Emergencies are emergencies are emergencies. Now, once again, when it comes to your personal health questions, we want you to consult with your licensed benefit advisor. This is more of a general presentation. I'd like to say thank you for your time. At this time, we'll begin to answer the questions off the cards.
Okay. All right, let's see if I can read well. All right, first question has to deal with the HRA and the money. We get a set amount every year. How does that flow to the insurance company? What does the reimbursement mean to the yearly amount given to the retiree? Kind of explain to them how the process works with the HRA from picking a plan going forward and reimbursement.
You want me to explain?
I can do it, or you can. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't make a difference.
Basically, currently you pay the conference a premium. What you're going to do with One Exchange Assistance is you're going to pick a plan. Let's just use the big elephant in Oklahoma, which is, I call them the big elephant because we deal with them every day, Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Okay? Let's say you pick a plan with Blue Cross and Blue Shield. You pick a plan with Blue Cross that costs $175 a month. You set up an agreement to pay Blue Cross and Blue Shield $175 a month. Blue Cross notifies One Exchange they've received that $175. One Exchange notifies your HRA, and if you select what Dwight referred to as auto reimbursement, that money will be put right back into your account. This process will be explained to you during your enrollment call, and that's set up going forward with it. That's the most basic way to explain reimbursement from a premium standpoint. Manual reimbursement is a little bit different. If you have a claim you have to pay, a prescription drug copay, you have to submit that manually through the process, and then you can draw down on that HRA. A good way to kind of explain it, is medical expense reimbursement. If you were an active minister and you participate in our FSA plan, you could set aside pre-tax dollars for reimbursement. It's the same type of way, same type of system for claims reimbursement. It's just that you don't contribute, the conference contributes it for you. I hope that answered that question. Anything to add on that? Or?
No, you hit it on.
Okay. I hear this a lot. You keep saying for those who accept Medicare plans, are the numbers of physicians and healthcare facilities who do not accept Medicare increasing or decreasing?
I'll answer that.
Go ahead. I'll let you.
Remember what we were saying about 10,000 baby boomers a day aging into Medicare. If a physician is looking to survive, he's going to go where the numbers are. If a physician is not accepting Medicare, he probably has his business and he just doesn't want to deal with the actual government. Most of your physicians accept Medicare. But what I would tell you is you can call ahead and make sure that your doctor accepts Medicare. I've run into very few instances where a doctor did not accept Medicare.
I have a question for you on that. We have providers in Oklahoma City who are no longer phasing out Medicare. I've received a couple calls from retirees. And what they're doing is they're setting up private agreements, annual payments for year-round service, and that covers like concierge-type medicine. Can that payment be used for reimbursement through an HRA if they don't participate in Medicare or not?
In order to be reimbursed, any out-of-pocket expense, you should be able to speak. So as long as they have a receipt or an EOB and it's a qualifying expense, it should be reimbursable, whether the doctor participates or not.
Okay.
As long as they can provide a proof of payment, it should be reimbursable.
Okay, that's a good question. Couple of questions here. HRA that I have, we'll be able to keep it. I'm assuming, the HRA is not going to go away. We're going to renew it every year. Every year at annual conference, currently we vote before this year on whether to extend retiree medical benefits every year. The annual conference votes on that. It'll be part of the report at annual conference, the amount that'll be in there. So if you come to annual conference and you want to hear the amount, or just look at a pre-conference journal, you'll see that amount will be in there. So it's not going to go down. It'll be $2,400, obviously this next year, and then we'll reassess it. It'll be $2,400, at least $2,400 the next year. It will not go away to you. That's something that will be to you every year that we'll vote for it. As long as we're financially sustainable, as long as Brian Bakeman's our treasurer, we'll be financially sustainable. Just letting you know. Sorry, Brian. Why do I have to do the enrollment process over the phone? Why do they not come to us personally? Can you answer that?
Yes. We have approximately about 2,000 benefit advisors. Everything that we do has to be recorded. We have to have the ability to play it back. We simply do not have the manpower to send benefit advisors to your door. We service over 80,000 people.
Put it in a local perspective, they service 20 annual conferences, 20 of our 57 annual conferences. So just do the numbers there on just 20 annual conferences with 20 retired clergy. That's a small segment of their population. So they are the largest private Medicare exchange in the country, and they're the best at what they do. And so they patented this approach over the phone, and it's very efficient. Next question. How often does the special election period come? I guess that question is on a special election period, which is, you got it.
Yeah. Right now, you're qualifying for a special election period due to loss of group coverage. Now, other circumstances that create special election period, misrepresentation by the insurance agent. Say the plan that you're signed up for moves out of the area. That opens up a special election period. Say you move. You're in a Medicare Advantage plan and you move to another service area, say you move to another state, that's going to open up a special election period. So you have to have qualifying circumstances that open up what we call a special election period. If you choose to move from a Medigap plan simply because you want to move, you're going to be subject to medical underwriting at that point. But if you have a qualifying reason known as a special election period, you don't have to worry about underwriting.
Okay, next question we're all on the same lines. If you increase Medigap coverage after the special election period, at the next annual enrollment, can you be rejected?
You will be subject to medical underwriting. Now, if you're in a higher plan, a plan F, and you go down, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're trying to move up, or you're trying to move to another company, most definitely you would subject yourself to medical underwriting.
This is very important. Currently, you're under a group Medicare Plan F. I'm going to stand up here and try not to be like our president. If you like the coverage, you get to keep it. I'm not going to say that. But what I am going to say is if you want a Medicare Plan F, they will help you do it. One Exchange has that information. You are transitioning from a group to an individual policy, which means you have the ability to pick any plan you want right now with no underwriting. So any decision you make now is very important that you make the right selection for you going forward. So just remember that going forward when you talk to your Medicare advisor with One Exchange.
And just to add to that, I don't care what form of insurance it is, it all comes down to risk versus peace of mind. And the thing is, well, you got to ask yourself, where do I fit in that equation? What's more important to me? Do I want the peace of mind? Or I'm basically healthy, I'm willing to risk more, I'll go with a Medicare Advantage plan. nothing happens to me, I haven't seen a doctor 2 or 3 years, those funds are rolling over. And if something does happen to me, they're set aside, and I have access to them. It's just different philosophies.
Next question. I'm a power of attorney. When and to whom will I provide the durable power of attorney to?
At the time of enrollment, we're gonna take your word that you have durable power of attorney, but what we will do is tell you to set aside a copy of your POA, because we're gonna let the insurance company know that we enrolled someone that has durable power of attorney. The insurance company is going to ask for that information. They'll tell you whether fax it or mail it in to. They'll provide that information to you once they ask it for it.
Next question is, where can I get a copy of the information on the localized slides? And I'm assuming if Dwight gives me the okay, I'm going to put it on our website, assuming I can get that permission. But this will be in a video, and the video will have the slides working with it as well. So that will be there also. Also, do any of you have your 2015 Medicare and U book that they send out they send this out annually? I don't think they've received, they're in transit now, they might not have them all yet. You should be receiving that Medicare and U book by law. It has every plan that is in your area listed. And what I will tell you is that the plans that are on our platform are the proven plans. We won't just put anyone on our platform. They have to have a track record. But a lot of that information is available in that Medicare and U book that is released annually. Next question is, how do we continue on Delta Dental? It's real easy. You just don't tell us anything. We'll keep billing you. So if you're on Delta Dental, you're on VSP, Debbie and I will look at the numbers in December, and we will just revise your record and send you a bill for that amount. One thing I want to mention about dental and vision, I don't know this for a fact, but I know how dental and vision work. If you get a new plan, a lot of times dental and vision plans require a 1-year satisfaction period before you can get any major work done. So just keep that in mind, and One Exchange can help you with that, understand that a little bit better during your enrollment process. So that might be a reason to stay on your plan, because if you need some major work outside of Class 1, which is regular physicals, regular exams, if you need cavities filled, some certain type of procedures done for dental work, that might be, you might have a vision or a dental plan that's less expensive than what we have, but you still may have to put a year in before you can have any major work done. So be aware of what you're signing up for when you sign up for it, if you do remove the dental plan or vision from our side of it. And keep in mind, if you have that plan and you're happy with it, it's still reimbursable to you. Okay. Next question is, I will be 65 in March. When do I enroll? How? I retired in 2013. Do I get $200 a month? Yes, you get $200 a month. And you will enroll. We will give your information to One Exchange. Usually about 90 days out, you'll get a phone call from One Exchange. You'll start getting material from them, and they'll get on our list, and then you'll start going through the process. Yeah, you'll be part of our age-in process. We have an age-in process to where we receive. Careful when you say age-in, but yes, you're right. We receive a file of everyone that's going to be turning 65, and we'll begin contacting them 3 to 4 months out. Question? 30 to 60 days out. Yes. And they're very detailed in that process. I've been in countless meetings with them. They're very good at that. And don't laugh when I say this, but their motto is no retiree left behind. I was getting ready to bring that up. And I'm serious. If you don't make a selection, you're going to get a certified letter, and you're going to have to sign that I've received this. And so we're going to get you. I mean, in a good way. But we're going to make sure you make a selection. Yeah, we have to. If we can't get in touch with somebody, guess who we tell? Yep. Going straight to them. I want to compare new plans to current coverage. Can I get a copy of my current coverage? You can, but One Exchange already has a copy of it. So you don't have to worry about that. Again, a Medicare Plan F, which is what we currently offer for your major medical, which your Part B supplement, basically. It doesn't matter if Blue Cross Blue Shield is selling a Plan F, or if Hartford, who are group coverage, is Plan F. As long as you select it, it's going to pay the exact same way. The thing that you will not have access to is prescription drugs. Unfortunately, you've had the ability to take advantage of our self-funded prescription drug plan, which is a very generous plan with a lot of drugs on it. So the phone call with One Exchange will be very important to identify all of your prescription needs going forward. That'll be your biggest adjustment going forward. Do I have anything to add on that? Or? No, you're good. Okay. Next question is, are Medicare Advantage plans widely available in rural and metropolitan areas? The
When you have a talk with your licensed benefit advisor, when they pull up your county, your specific zip code, they can tell you exactly what Medicare Advantage plans are available in your area. So it's only going to be specific to the county in which you reside in.
Question?
I can't.
His question was, part of him doesn't know any better and live in Texas. As long as you're not a UT fan, you're okay. I'm just kidding. As long as you're not a University of Texas fan, it's okay. No, it depends on your zip code. The question was, if I live in Texas, does that make a difference? You know, the plans available to you are based on your age and your zip code, so where you live, and that's what you'll look into.
Another thing, yeah, 75 years on that price. I'm going to be 82 3 days before this takes place. How is that going to affect us older people?
Age,
Question had to do with age.
Yeah.
What kind of effect does it have on pricing?
age can be a factor, but depending on how the plan rates, it may not be a factor. You have some plans that do a community rating. And if you're going through a community rating, they're looking at the entire community and coming up with the prices. You got plans that do attained age, where they will take the age that you are when you enroll, and they'll base, that'll be one of the deciding factors. So depending on what company you go with, they may have different ways of calculating the premium, but it could be a factor. In general, if it's not being community rated, women's premiums are less than men. If you're 65, your premiums may be lower. Age can be considered a factor. It just depends on how the actual insurance carrier comes up with the premium rates.
Mm-hmm.
Are there cutoff ages? I mean, do they have so-and-so is one thing?
Are there cutoff age groups? Is that what you're saying?
Are there categories?
Categories.
It could be, but once again, you still have plans that are community rated.
Yeah. So we're talking about a huge pool of people. That's the benefit of using a private exchange, is that that's all community rated with all the people in it. Next question has to do with, what does lifetime advocacy mean? Specifically, will we be assigned one person with specific phone number? And I want to say something here real quick. Debbie and I really are going to be available for you for anything that you need, but the beautiful thing about One Exchange is their lifetime advocacy program, and if you need something, even with your insurance carrier, you can call them at any time. They have a system, a phone system, that will recognize your caller ID and assign you to a specific pod within their group. So it's quite possible, if you call a number and the person you've been dealing with is working those hours, they'll direct your call to them right away. And Dwight can explain that a little bit more, but we got to witness this and see how this works, and it's a nice feature.
Yeah, and the thing about that is, being a licensed benefit advisor, a lot of times, guess what? You're on the phone taking a call. The technology is what we call a smart technology. If you talk to that person originally and they're at work and they're available, it's instantly going to route you to them. If that person's busy, it's going to route you to someone that is licensed in the state that you reside in that can help you. We have to take very detailed notes, and I can tell you, we can look right at those notes and pick up exactly where the last person left off. So there should not be any change in service. But if you're wanting to speak to that person, if you have developed that relationship with that person, of course you can speak to them. It may just take them a little while longer to get back in touch with you. It starts out that way, but you're going to push very few buttons and you'll be routed to a live person.
The question had to do with the phone system. Do they have an automated phone system where you have to call in and give out your password and the last 4 digits of... So what is that? That was the question on it. Yeah. This next question has to do automatic reimbursements applied only to premiums?
Yes. Automatic reimbursement is only good for premiums. If you have out-of-pocket expenses, you're going to have to submit a manual claim, because we don't have a way of the doctor's office letting us know that you've paid your out-of-pocket expenses, so it has to be done manually.
Mm-hmm. Question is, who pays Towers Watson? Where does your money come from?
We operate just like any other broker. We're paid by the carrier per enrollment.
So they're not getting a commission for selling you a rich plan. They negotiate that price before, so they're neutral based. There's no compensation to them. There's no financial incentive for them to sell you any certain type of plan. Whatever plan fits your needs, they're worried about volume more than anything.
Yeah, CMS is heavily regulated. And believe me, I've seen companies get their plans taken away because guess what? They wasn't following rules and regulations of Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. A lot of what we do boils down to integrity. So as an insurance agent, you're in my presentation, losing your license is like losing your income. There's nothing that I would do to jeopardize my insurance license for nobody.
This next question is a very, very general question, but what about 90-day prescriptions from pharmacy? Again, we can't really answer that because it's more of an individual question, but if there are pharmacy plans that do offer 90-day plans, then your One Exchange phone call will help you with that process.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I don't mean to answer.
You got it. You know it. You know it.
Okay. Do you know which of these plans we had and will it be available in 2015? Medicare Advantage or Medigap plan? What plan do you currently have now? I'm going to quiz you. Medigap? Yes, Medigap. Mm-hmm. So you have a Medicare Plan F.
And to answer your questions, we do know that Medicare Advantage plans and Medigap plans will be available for 2015. It's just a matter of when that information is released, which will be early October.
Again, your benefit advisor will have your information. They will know what plan you currently have. They won't have your prescription drug plan, but they will understand that your prescription drug will be an exposure for you. But they will tell you if you like the current plan you have, which is a Medicare Plan F, Medicare Supplement Plan F, then they will recommend that plan if there's one available to you in your area.
And just to add to that, I mean, we've already talked about a Plan F is a Plan F is a Plan F. What's the only difference in a Plan F? The price that you pay.
Yes.
So we're going to recommend the most cost-effective Plan F to you.
Okay, the first question has been answered. What source does One Exchange get its funding? And I'm sorry, I'm thinking it says, do we get written confirmation for reimbursement? I would think that the money in your account would be a good confirmation, but at the same time, you probably do get that.
Yeah, you'll receive a monthly statement telling you exactly what you've exhausted and how much is left. We do send that information out.
Then the next question has to deal with the slides and the accessibility, and we will have that for you on our website.
Did you say this is going to be on the website?
Dwight, can I put it on the website? Yes, it will be. Uh-huh. I'm asking Dwight for permission, but yes,
Yeah,
it
you just
will
got to
be.
go through Cindy.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
it. Okay. I'm sorry? No, I have guardianship for my wife. She is in a home. What about?
I'm asking, that's mine. I'm asking about my wife being in a nursing home and what kind of, what do I need, is there anything I need to do special about that?
As long as you have guardianship, you can make those selections.
He needs to have durable power of attorney.
Durable power of attorney. Do you have durable power of attorney?
I have guardianship.
Okay.
He has to have you. Yeah, as long as you have durable power of attorney, you're okay.
You can make those selections
Yeah.
for them. Mhm. Okay. All right. Another question, copy about the copy of the presentation. Yes. You're that good, Dwight. They want to have it. Do we get Plan D coverage in Garfield County? That's a good question. We have a lot of retirees in Garfield County. I cannot answer that because I don't have access to it, but
Once you call your licensed benefit advisor, they're going to be looking at the area that you reside in. They'll let you know exactly what plans are available in your area. If you have internet access, you can look that information up on the dedicated website as well. On the
Question.
One-
Right here.
Stephen, on the computer, I was given some choices of policies, but it said there is no Plan D coverage in your county.
If that's the situation, sir, I would give us a call immediately, because I'm not aware of any county that does not have prescription drug plans. It's all regulated by CMS.
Okay.
Separate prescription drug coverage. Remember what we were saying with a Medicare Advantage plan? It includes prescription drug service coverage, but with a Medigap plan, you are purchasing it separately. So that's what we mean by standalone.
Again, I'm sorry, I'm reading prescription drugs for supplement insurance premiums. I'm assuming that has to do with what we've already talked about. I think it has to do with premiums for prescription drugs. So we talked about if you want a Medicare Plan F, like we currently have, or a Medigap plan, and you get a prescription drug plan standalone like we spoke about, you would have to pay 2 different premiums for that. And it may be with 2 separate carriers. Keep that in mind. You may pick a prescription drug plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield and a Medicare supplement plan with Humana. It's just whatever's best for you in your plan. But then again, that's all reimbursed through your auto reimbursement or through your reimbursement process through your HRA. I think that's kind of the question, the nature of the question? I'm sorry. If not, Brian can get a microphone to you.
Or they can come talk to us afterwards.
Or you can come speak to me afterwards, yes, absolutely. Last question. Are these insurance changes that are happening? Oh, I was waiting for this question. Are these insurance changes that are occurring all insurance areas in any way due to the Affordable Care Act? No. This has nothing to do with the Affordable Care Act. And in any way, the Affordable Care Act is helping you when it's closing the prescription drug donut hole like Dwight spoke of earlier. This is happening because we have experienced high cost, and we had to kind of reassess the value and the cost for our retiree medical changes. It's nothing to do with the Affordable Care Act. Healthcare reform does not have any way to do with this switching from this plan going forward.
Well, remember what we're talking about, the power in numbers versus group insurance versus individual Medicare, and how being in the individual Medicare drove the actual premium down and gave you more benefit for your dollar? That's exactly what was factored in when they were making this decision. That's the last question.
That was the last question.
Okay. Guys, I just want to thank...
We have a few other questions here.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best to repeat it. Actually, here, let's just do this. If I can figure out how to turn it on. It's good.
Said it's good.
I am not Medicare eligible, so I continue on like an active clergy that will be subtracted, my premiums will be subtracted out of his pension payment.
Okay.
Is his part that was being deducted going to increase our pension payment per month since we are making insurance premiums ourselves?
Yes, that's a good question. Now, a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. If you're everybody that is currently having their pension deducted for their medical insurance, that's going to go away. So you're obviously going to get a little bit more money on your pension every month, okay? Use that money to pay your premium separately. If in this situation, spouse is not 65 and eligible for Medicare yet, they will remain on our active health insurance plan until they age in, and I'm sorry, I'm not making it sound like that, become Medicare eligible, age in to 65, then you'll go through the process, do one exchange, and you'll pick a plan through one exchange and go individually supplement. One thing I want to bring to your attention, you will not have the ability to pay for that premium through your pension deduction. You're going to have to pay that separately through us. So the general board will not deduct the portion of your medical insurance from his pension anymore. It's just an agreement that we lose when we go from there. But what we can do is get you set up through an automatic draft on our account. You don't have to worry about it. We'll just take it out of your bank account around the 15th to 20th of every month going forward. And that rate will be listed, will be separately listed, so that you do not have the ability to have that going forward. Just be aware of that. Same thing goes if you're retired serving a local church. Unfortunately, to be able to participate in an FSA plan, which is flexible spending account plan, you have to be eligible to be in the group health plan. Since you're going to one exchange, you use that ability to have that service. So if you have questions about that and you're serving a local church, please come see me when we're done and I'll explain that to you how that will work. Jack has a question?
Why did I get a call on September the 17th from someone left a message saying that they were representing United Methodist Church and they talked to me about the health insurance enrollment?
Good question. I got some statistics. 62% of our retirees have contacted One Exchange and went ahead and set up an appointment phone call. If you don't make that step and you don't set up that phone call, they're going to reach out to you. And Dwight can explain that a little bit
That
more.
is part of what we talked about, the no retiree left behind process. If you have not contacted us, we know it and we will reach out.
Well, that's when the enrollment's available, but they want you to pre-register and get
Right.
signed up as soon as possible. So that's what they're doing, and they're doing it. And I've had a lot of calls and a lot of concerns. The workers are domestic, and I've had a lot of calls about some accents, not understanding them. They're a very large company, so they route phone calls throughout the country. So your caller ID may say that it's calling from Chicago or from Louisiana, but they're working for Towers Watson. If you don't feel comfortable talking to them on a cold call, just say, okay, I have your information, but you also have your information from One Exchange. Hang up, call them back.
Right.
Call the number back, and then give them that information. Okay? Question? 1 minute. He's got to get your mic hot. Okay.
Now, okay, we're in it. They called me. I hadn't called them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was about to give them the information out of this little booklet. And my wife says, you don't give information over the telephone.
That's right.
That ended it right there.
This isn't that situation. I mean, in today's day and age, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that like to take advantage of people and they like to scam, and make those calls. But again, if you get a phone call and you're not comfortable sharing that information during that phone call, call them back. We have the
Right.
information and we'll get that to you.
And we can't reiterate that enough. If you're not comfortable with someone calling you directly, asking about your information, which I do not blame you. I probably would not do it either. But just keep in mind, hang up, call us back. That way you feel a little more secure about who you're talking to and who you're dealing with. Yeah, it's up and running.
They
I
probably
wouldn't-
didn't have your file information yet, Chris. It's probably what had happened. They had your name. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
They recognized my name because I can't remember what they asked for, but they said they knew who I was, and they said, just a moment, and I got dog.
okay, I wasn't aware of any type of issues of that nature, but to the best of my knowledge, there should not be any issues. And if it is, call back and let us know exactly what happened so that way we can move it up the chains.
Or call me.
Yeah.
So you called the General Board of Pension. Okay. There's a difference. Question? Any other questions for us? Back here. Here, let's go, Charles. All right, let's go here, and I'll bring you Mike, Charles. We'll go with Nancy first. I need it on the microphone. I'm sorry, just for the recording. Let's let Nancy answer her question first, Charles, and then we'll go.
Earlier, you said that we could have auto withdrawal as well as auto reimbursement. Is that still going to be available?
Through the insurance carriers, you can set up electronic funds transfer, and they can take that payment out on a monthly basis, quarterly, as you see fit.
Charles, question?
What hours are we available to call in?
Remember we showed the 7 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 13 hours a day, Monday through Friday. Now, I will let you guys in on a secret. Some of your enrollment calls may take place on a Saturday. They spread them out. We won't be taking inbound calls, but it is very well your appointment confirmation date could be on an actual Saturday. Okay. Yeah.
I have 1,000 of them. I can give you one. Okay. If you need this handout from the general board, I have it. I'd be happy to give you one. Send it to you in the mail. It's also on our website as well.
Come see me after.
Any other questions while we move forward? Again, if you have any specific questions dealing with any personal health information, just come up and let us know. I'll turn the mic off. I promise we won't let anybody else know. Right here, question?
I understood that AARP would not accept people over 80 years old. Is there anything to that?
I can't speak
I'm
to
not aware of that
to
at all.
AARP. I'm not sure on that. That would be a question for your advisor. No. You think you live long. From an actuarial standpoint, your wife's going to live 20 years longer. Trust me. I know.
Guys, I just want to say thank you for coming out. It's been a pleasure to be in front of you. We are around if you have further questions. You guys have a blessed day and have safe travels home. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.